Hi everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and who doesn't love Wonderkids, and even more, who doesn't love cheap Wonderkids? Today I'm going to be showing you 10 plus players, all of varying quality levels for various teams, most of them you won't have heard of, who you can sign all for under £500,000. Make sure you stick around in this video because you don't want to miss some of these amazing gems. Trust me, the further into the video we get, we're going to see some real superstars that I don't think will have crossed your mind yet. So let's run the intro and get right into it. Hi everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and as I mentioned in that intro, today we're going to be looking at a bunch of Wonderkids who you can sign for under £500,000. And I think even for the most experienced player, for the player managing the big team or the lower teams and the lower levels of the game, I think you're still going to find someone in this video that can be of use to you that you should at least scout, if not buy, in your saves. Before we get into it though, I'd like to ask you guys, I know I always do it, but it really does help if you can hit the like button. It does take a while to find these players, so any support is appreciated and it does help with video performance. Comment down below your best cheap Wonderkids so we can have a big list in the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And last thing, if you want to check out my channel, you can find that linked in the description. Hit the subscribe button over there if you want to. And with that being said, let's get into player number one. Okay, so every player in this list has the potential to be a Wonderkid based on their potential ability range, but as always, scout them first before you buy, in most cases at least. And the first player we start off with is our only exception of the video. Technically, he's not under £500,000. You're looking at around 525,000, so I apologise for that. But goalkeepers, I never know really what to say. He's got potential. He doesn't look great right from the off, but he has got potential to be a good goalkeeper. This is Juan Diego Castillo, a Colombian capped at under 19 level who plays for Fortaleza. They're a team in the Colombian second division, so to find him, chances are your database will have to be pretty widespread. I'll mention it now at the start so no one comments it, but if you can't find a player in your save, chances are you haven't got them loaded in your database, or your database isn't large enough. When you set your database up, you can choose the leagues, choose the nations of players that you want loaded in. So if you don't see any of these players, that's probably why. So that's our goalkeeper. Now let's move on to some far more exciting options. If you're looking for an option in defense that should be easily accessible to everyone, we have got Pablo Ramon. He plays for Real Madrid in the Spanish First Division. I would assume most people would have that league loaded into the game, so most of you should be able to find this guy. You're going to be looking at under £500,000 for a centre-back / right-back who is good with both feet, decent physically, got some decent mentals to start off with, but does need a little bit of work, and technically is pretty well versed in the areas he would need to be. Now at 20 years old, he's got less chance to develop into a real superstar like some of the others have, but you kind of know what you're getting when you sign him. Yes, he's not going to be Chelsea starting centre-back or Manchester United, but he's definitely an option for teams lower down, and at full growth he can definitely contribute to teams in the top divisions of the top 5 leagues once he's been developed. You know there's something good about him because the AI is looking to buy him. Marseille are interested right from the off, so that's Pablo Ramon. And there is also another Wonderkid at Real Madrid to look at, and that is Alvaro Carrillo, who plays for Real Madrid's B team. For a centre-back, physically he is pretty weak, I would say, but everything else looks good to me, particularly his mentals, which are off the charts really, and 17 determination is really going to help this 19-year-old grow. You're probably looking at around £400,000 for a Real Madrid academy product who can definitely contribute to some of your guys' sides, and at full growth can definitely be a big player in the world of football. Alvaro Carrillo is worth a look at, worth a scout, and maybe worth a pickup. There is a lot of players in this list, so I'm not going to stick around too long on each individual player, but we have another Spanish Wonderkid for under £500,000. Fernando Somalinos is a centre-back. At 6'2", he's good in most areas. He needs a bit of work in some, but with nice positioning and nice passing, he could be a good ball-playing defender if you can get that vision up. But he's a bargain player. He plays for Sporting Gijón B, which is the B team of the second division of Sporting Gijón. He's someone I hadn't actually heard of, but as a player with Wonderkid potential, you've definitely got to keep your eyes on him. Don't worry, we're going to be leaving Spain soon and looking at some more well-rounded Wonderkids you might want to say, but this is genuinely a great option at right back. We're looking at Lander Areno. He plays for Bilbao's under-19s, and at the age of 16, he has got plenty of room to grow. Naturally fit, fairly small, but good with his right foot. He can make a decent fullback at full growth. Physically, he's got some good areas to start off with, but mentally is his strongest areas with great teamwork, determination, and bravery, as well as aggression right from the off. He might not be the world's best going forward, with his crossing and passing being fairly low, but his tackling is very high, and you could definitely make something of this hard tackling fullback. He's a great option for under £500,000, maybe sign him, leave him in your development squad, and at full growth, he can contribute to even the best of teams. We're out of Spain now, into the UK, into England, and in to the Sky Bet Championship. We're looking at Huddersfield's under-23 player, Luke Daly, an 18-year-old Englishman from the Huddersfield Academy, this left-back who can play all alongside the left flank really, but is ideally natural in that fullback role. To be honest, at the age of 18, he's not the world's best product, he's not the best player in this list, but he has Wonderkid potential, he has some decent starting attributes. My suggestion with him, scout him first, see if he is actually any good in your save, then make your decision. But the reason he's in this list, like all the players, is that he does have the ability, he does have a potential range to become a Wonderkid in your saves. That's Luke Daly, maybe not the world's best, needs a bit of time, but who knows whose team he could be a part of going forward. The highest quality player on this list so far in my opinion, and he's probably one of the cheapest we've looked at, it's Venezuelan Telasco Segovia. Before we look at him though, I'd like to let you guys know I do have my own channel linked in the description. I've already mentioned it, but to let you know a bit more, it's a more Let's Play style stuff than it is informative, so we have a save going on with Wolfsburg as well as some one-off rebuild videos. If you enjoy that kind of thing, I'd appreciate the support over there. If you could go, hit the subscribe button, check out one video, see what you think. I would greatly appreciate it. But back to the video, and Telasco Segovia, who is wanted at the start of your saves by 19 clubs. We've got the likes of Porto, Nice, Marseille, Lille, Fiorentina, Rennes, Genoa, Cagliari. There's plenty of teams that are interested in this guy, and it's obvious to see why. At such a bargain price of around 100 to £150,000, you're getting a player who is a great deep line playmaker right from the off. At 18, he's good, and he has the potential to get even better. Physically not the world's best, but he's got a good base set, mentally very strong all around, and then technically he is also shining in multiple areas. He's a player that I don't really need to speak about too much. Just look at him, look at his price tag. It's an easy option, isn't it? Buy this guy. Another cheap Venezuelan who is full of quality and has Wonderkid potential is Yersan Chacon of Deportivo Táchira. They're a team in the Venezuelan First Division, but it looks like there's some great options out in South America, in Venezuela, because what a player this guy is, around £500,000 probably on the dot. We're looking at a physically superb player with room to grow. He'll likely have 15s and 16s across the board. Mentally, very nice. You can't complain about anything there. Technicals is where he begins to lack, but with that crossing, if we're making him an inverted winger, he's got some decent attributes in all areas. Needs a bit of work, but with those mentals and physicals, you can kind of focus in on those technicals as you go forward. Yerson Chacon is a brilliant player. I've spoke about him before, but always, if you can, scout him and maybe pick him up in your saves. Our next player is Samba Diallo of Dinamo Kiev's under-19s. To be honest, when I heard this guy's name, I was hoping he'd have great flair. The name Samba, you just think surely he can play amazing, skillful football. And he did. He had 16 flair. I was very happy to hear that. Physically, he is quick, he's naturally fit, and that is his strong suit on that left-hand side. Mentally, he's got some good starting attributes, but some that are lacking. But with a bit of work, the 18-year-old can certainly become usable. Of course, this is all depending on what level your team's at, but you've got to give these guys some time to develop, and if you can sign them, bring them into your team and give them the correct training, they can reach a very good level. A silky dribbler with a good first touch who can cross and finish, and is also good on corners. This guy is looking like an inverted winger, inside forward on that left-hand side, using that right foot. He's certainly one that's worth a try. Now let's move on to our next player. 5 players left in this list now, and we go with Jesus Diaz, a Colombian playing for Barranquilla. I assume that is a team in the Colombian divisions, correct me if I'm wrong, but he is a player who kind of borderlines at £500,000 valuation, but he is certainly a good option. A left footer cutting in on his right in his natural position. He's quick, naturally fit, and fairly strong for a player of his age who's only going to grow. Mentally fairly weak, but technically he has got some great attributes, so he just needs some time. As he develops a little bit in a few years, you'll start seeing this guy with the potential that he really can have, and that is to be a great influence on that right hand side. Jesus Diaz, have you tried him out before? I'd assume not, but maybe he's someone for your next save. Now a player that I can certainly vouch for in Football Manager, it's Yusuf Amin, who plays for Victoria Köln in the 3rd division of German football. We signed this guy for the valuation that you guys would be able to get him for, which is around £100,000. We developed him for a couple years in our development centre, used him periodically in the squad. He played maybe 15 games across 2 years, not much at all. We sold him on for about £15 million, and he arguably could have stayed and was actually, when we signed Florian Wirtz, competing with him for an attacking midfield spot. That's how good Yusuf Amin can get. He's got a great base set. If you get a good version of him, he's certainly worth the pickup. Even if he's just to sit in your development squad and make a profit, I can vouch for you that you will get a profit out of this guy. He's a great player and will easily go on to play Bundesliga football in the majority of your guys' saves. Maybe you want to branch out your Wonderkid net and sign a player from Asia. Well, if you want to, you can sign the South Korean Bae Jun Ho, who plays for Chugnam MTHS. In the South Korean junior division. I assume that is the youth team of a club, but I'm not too clued up, to be honest, on South Korean football. His contract is expiring very soon, and it means you can pick him up for, well, you can see the valuation right before your eyes. He is as cheap as it gets, really. Physically, not much to talk about with one balance in this save. Sorry, I've just seen that. That's pretty dreadful. But he does apparently have Wonderkid potential, and if he's free, put him in your youth academy maybe and see what happens with him. If you have the South Korean divisions loaded, then lucky you, you're getting some profit in the future. I'm not saying, at least in this save, this guy's ever going to get near first team football at a decent club, but he's got good potential. You can train him for a few years and potentially sell him on. His technicals aren't too bad. It's just he seems to be decent in some areas, but then instead of being okay in others, he's just terrible. Maybe we've got a bad version of him. Let me know what he is in your save. But he does have the potential to be a Wonderkid, and just for this player, I'm going to show you his current and potential ability, just so you know I'm not lying to you. He's got 42 current ability. That is shocking, but he's got potential to get another 100 current ability points to get to 145, which would make him a decent level. Now, this isn't necessarily Wonderkid potential, but if it was a different value in this range, obviously that depends when you load up a save. If you didn't already know, a player can fall within the range. If it was higher up, you'd be looking at a decent player, considering you can get him for absolutely nothing. Moving on to our final two players, and we have a striker by the name of Jose Riasco, a Venezuelan again. He plays for Deportivo La Guera in the Venezuelan Premier Division, so it might be worth just having that division in your next save, because there's a few bargain players in there. Maybe if you're not playing as a top level team, you can definitely pick up some great options from that league. Physically, very, very well rounded for a 17-year-old, and he's only going to get better. Very impressed with those physicals for a player of under £500,000 or around that value. That is very, very good. Mentally, nicely balanced as well. We're not seeing anything wrong with him just yet. And then technically, he's a good finisher. He's got good first touch, and there's a few other nice attributes in there. The only issue I'm seeing is 2 determination, but that is probably just dependent on this save and will be random in your save. Maybe it's not, but most of the time that is on a player so young, and at the age of 17, I would assume it is. At 6'2", if he had better determination, even with that, I'd say he's still worth the pickup at around £500,000. Develop him, and you could have a very good pressing forward, target forward, whatever it is you want. Jose Riasco could be your new favourite striker. But with that determination, maybe not. And we finish with the Ivorian with 2 caps, who I've mentioned in plenty of Bargain Wonderkid videos. He always has to be in here. Karim Konate of ASEC Mimosas. They are a team in the Ivorian divisions, as far as I'm aware. Yes, they are. They are in the Ivorian leagues. Yeah, if you have him in your save, buy him. He's definitely worth it. For this kind of price, to have these balanced physicals, mentals, and half decent technicals that do need some work, this 17-year-old is a great player to try and pick up. That is everyone in this video. Let me know what you thought of it down below. Like the video if you did enjoy. Hopefully, even the most experienced player at least learned about someone new, even if you're not going to sign them. But all of these guys can have a potential to do wonders in your save. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time, guys. Have a great day, and goodbye.